Wait, okay. Acid, how's your time been in your little West Coast tour?
It's been fun. It's been cool.
Yeah. Are you
I
tired? Are
mean,
you exhausted yet?
not honestly, not really. I just don't travel very well, so I'm just dealing with my travel bullshit, which is like, I can't eat. I'm trying to drink when I
hmm
can. I just don't do well when I'm like not home. I'm so weird.
Mm.
I know. Well, I don't know about you, but like every time I go on an airplane, it does something to the gases in my stomach. And so for like the first, it's like I'm just full of gas for the first like 12 hours after my flight.
Yeah, I get so anxious, then I can't eat, and that's
Yeah.
that.
Can't, I can't relate. I
No,
only
no, there's
eat
people who
when
can't
I'm
relate.
anxious.
I remember when we were filming with like kimchi and I was having those issues and I wasn't eating and Kim would be like there with a plate of food and I just couldn't understand how she was so easily just eating, But
Uh-huh.
obviously, but there's other people who can just eat anywhere all the time. I'm not one of them for some reason. It
So I'm
sucks.
assuming you don't like airplane food. Dom, do you like airplane food?
I don't think anyone, I mean, like, I feel like airplane food used to be better. Like, I remember
Yeah.
one time getting like pizza on a plane, like, and that was like, years. But like, now I think they've just been like, how do we cut corners? How do we make it cheaper? How do we make it grosser? How do we make it easier? So at the bottom line, we're just eating like the crappiest food of the crap.
But they
Um,
still, but they say like it's by Chef Cordon
yeah,
Bleu. Is
yeah.
the chef boop boop boop, and it's like a shitty little like thing of like
And it's like
dried up.
$40.
It's like dried up beans and like lettuce and like a
It's
cookie.
astronaut food.
Yeah, like a little thing of Ghirardelli chocolate. You're like, wow, thanks.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my,
also
wait.
think it matters which airline you're on because sometimes like other airlines have better food and others are just like gross. So
I
I don't
think the
know.
European airlines all have good food and good everything, and it's the American
Yes,
airlines that are crap. I really do think that's what
yes,
it is.
a hundred
I'd believe
percent.
that. Well,
Yeah.
did you see that I think it was Delta, they started serving Shake Shack on their flights, or they were like
No.
testing it. But I'm like, the last thing I want to be is up in the air with a bunch of people that are like, on their way to some business meeting, and then everyone's smelling like Shake Shack onions and burgers. Like, that
Yeah, no,
You know
sounds
that's
what?
disgusting.
disgusting.
One of my biggest pet peeves that makes my blood absolutely boil is when you
Hmm.
board a plane and somebody has waited to start eating
I
until
hate
they
it.
get on the
Yes.
plane.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And
I
it's like, and you just
want,
smell like it's like ribs and
oh,
chick, and
I
you're like, what the
literally
fuck?
Red
Literally,
onions.
somebody brought a whole rotisserie chicken onto the
Ew.
See,
plane
why is it always me?
the last time I was on a plane, and I took a picture because I couldn't believe it. Like I don't like taking pictures without consent, but I didn't get their face in it. I just got the chicken, like of him
Right.
holding the chicken, and I literally like posted it. I was like, "Can somebody explain to me when we as a society made this okay?" Like, how dare
On
you get a
airplanes.
rotisserie chicken and then wait until we boarded to eat it?
Well, I'm like,
Everyone
you
gets.
guys like outlawed cigarettes on planes, but you can eat a full fucking chicken?
I wish we could smoke cigarettes on planes. At least I'd be
We
able to
used to.
mask that scent.
I remember, I'm old enough to remember when they had smoking and non-smoking
Me
sections in the
too.
plane, as if the smoke would
Ooh,
stop.
Yeah, yeah,
At aisle 30, smoke just stops.
there's a
yeah.
curtain, a
Yeah,
curtain
I
literally,
don't
that's what
even
they
separating.
think
would
there was
do.
a curtain. I don't even
Sometimes, yeah,
think
that's
there
what I
was a
mean.
curtain.
It literally was like 30 and back is smoking, 29 and up is non. It literally was like that. And it was like,
Oh my
okay, so smokers in the back, like,
girl. Wait, so do I know there's like tons and tons of like people, especially TSA agents that aren't going and they're striking going to work, obviously, rightfully so, because they're not getting
yeah.
paid for their time or their work. But like, have you run into any issues with like that, with like long lines and stuff? Because I know a lot of airports are going kind of
No,
crazy right now. No.
no, thank God. I mean, I know there's even some airports that don't even have air traffic controllers. There's
Mm.
like,
Uh-huh.
I saw somewhere that I can't remember which airport, but there was an airport there. They literally have there's no one watching the plane. So they had to bring in people from other towns or other cities to like
It's so
air traffic
scary.
control. That's very
I
scary.
u- I used to want to be a flight attendant because I wanted to get the perks
Ooh.
of like flying everywhere for free and like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um like also getting to go somewhere for a little while and then flying back, and it's like free trips or whatever. But then I like slowly realized, one, I'm deathly afraid of flying. Not of flying, but like of somebody
Mhm.
else being in charge of my life. Like that's
Mhm.
like the part that gets me, and the fact that like if anything happens, we're dead. And then also my stress levels of flying for everything is just amplified because everyone just forgets proper decorum. I'll give one example. You know those
Yes.
you
I'll
know those
give
away
one example.
suitcases? You know those away suitcases that cost like $600? They're called away.
Uh-uh.
No.
So there's these really high priced suitcases that literally the largest version, I think it's like $1,000. The smallest version is like $500. They're so expensive. They're all metal. It's very
Oh,
clear what kind of suitcase it is when you bring it on. This guy boards the plane, travels all the way to the back of the plane, and then goes back to the front of the plane to sit down. So I obviously ran out of overhead room, whatever.
Yes, I
And in
hate
my head, I
that.
took a mental note, and I'm like, I think something is going to piss me off with that later. And sure enough, when the unfasten your seatbelt sign comes off when we finally land,
he's
everyone
like,
gets up. Everyone got up, and I'm in the because I'm once I can get up, I'm like I need to stretch my legs. Like I don't get up
Hmm.
during the flight. I will just sit there and quietly trying to take up as little space as possible. But when it's time to get up, I get up and I'm in the
People.
aisle like ready to go. I am holding my bag and my suitcase like proper. I'm ready. He then starts to push through the crowd of the aisle from the front of the plane to the back to the plane to get his suitcase. Like I'm talking
Hmm.
like pushing children out of the way, pushing me out of the way, pushing other things out of the way. And I said as loudly as I could, I said, "Don't you think it would make more sense for you to wait until we get out of your way and leave the plane for you to get your suitcase?" And he ignores me. He gets his suitcase and is carrying it, trying to bring it back to the front. And I said, for somebody who has a $500 suitcase, you sure don't know how to travel. And I actually got applause. I got applause.
But what Dom doesn't know is that guy, when he turns back around, it was actually just me. I'm just kidding.
Are you that person? Are you
No,
that
fuck no.
person?
That shit pisses me off. Like sometimes it makes me, well, it always makes me mad when people just immediately unbuckle their thing even though the little ding ding hasn't went off. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Oh,
like
yeah,
listen to
that
the
too.
instructions. But also like
Yeah,
when people are like we have some transferring or connecting flights, so please allow the people that have connecting flights to get up and go first. And like
never,
no one ever abides by that,
ever.
but
No, like, they're literally, like, how are we supposed to know who that is? You know what I mean?
well,
no,
they make
literally.
themselves known. Like I was one of those people. Yeah, they didn't really do anything. I literally had to connect in 30 minutes. Like my flight was
Mhm.
leaving 30 minutes, and I was still on my first plane. And they
Oh
said
my
that, and they're like, "Oh,
God.
let whatever." And I turned to the person. I was like, "I need to. I have a connection." They're like, "Okay," and they moved. The person next to me like let me get in front, but that didn't do anything.
But
Yeah,
were
no.
they men by you? That's the question. Were they men or were they? Because I feel like it's always the men that don't give a fuck on
Well, yeah, because
airplanes.
they always they demand
I feel like
space and
it's
shit.
everyone who doesn't give a fuck. It's literally all humanity goes out the door, and it's every man for himself. Everyone is rude. And I'm literally like that's the reason I no longer can be a flight attendant because my blood pressure will fly. If you took my blood pressure while flying, it probably is like through the fucking roof. Um, I
Well, I
can't. And
also have you seen those TikToks where it's people like going to flight attendant school and they're like, "My name is so and so and I'm from here and I hope that I get stationed in Dallas, Texas." And then it cuts to them and they're like, "I got stationed in Virginia." And it's like always them being disappointed. I love those because it's never where they want to be. Girl,
That's
but
yeah.
horrible.
speaking of
You,
rude and
your
not paying
favorite videos
attention,
are people who are miserable. That is funny.
well, this is the Petty Betty podcast, honey, and I'm Diabetti, and I like to stay petty. And today we are joined by my two sisters.
Robbie Turner.
Eureka O'Hara.
Y'all are so
And that is who
fast.
we
You're so
are.
quick.
If you cannot see us, that is exactly who we are. If you're not watching this and just listening.
Yes. Yeah, we are available on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, you get to watch our beautiful faces react to everything that is happening. behind the scenes,
And
honey.
actually, that's actually like, we could talk about that because a lot of people, I love it when people watch the podcast and just listen to it because literally the comments and the videos are like, look at their faces, look at what they're saying and what they're doing. And specifically, we could talk about when we had Denali on the show, and as it revealed that Ginger was saying something that didn't happen, and we have the three of you confirm it, and it kind of went kind of viral, and I'm actually shocked at the amount of like hate that came from it. Like we were just like, hey, like ginger didn't ginger kind of like embellished this story a little bit, like isn't that
Hmm.
funny? And people were like, Ozempic side effects, blah, 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 and like going crazy on her. And I was like, wow, like you need to really be careful, like what you're revealing and what you're saying. And like the craziest ones with me were the ones where they're like, Ginger's a good person. How dare you? And I was like, I never respond to the comments because I don't want to be the voice of the podcast if
Right.
somebody, one of you, like disagree with what I'm saying. But like I wanted to be like, okay, so we didn't say burn the witch, burn the witch.
Yeah, it's so
We were
funny, right?
literally just like, she's saying something that didn't happen. Do you guys remember this happening? I don't remember this happening. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, people are like, on two extreme sides of the spectrum, are like, she's a good person. How dare you say that? When all we said was she wasn't telling the truth. And then we
No,
have the other
fully.
side who was like, kill her. And we were like, wait, what?
Well,
And this is
It's
drag race
always
Mr.
like
fandom.
that.
Daniel Franchese. I mean, hey, this is a Petty Petty podcast, honey, so I'm naming names. I don't care. Daniel Franchese from Mean Girls, who played Damien, which everybody loves that movie, and I love Damien as the character. But he was the one that commented and it's like, Ginger's such a good person.
No,
I won't sit at this lunch table. I'm like, baby, we didn't say she was a bad person. We were just saying what she was saying wasn't true. That doesn't make you a bad
I
Yeah.
don't.
person.
I don't even know who that person is. Like, Alana had to tell
hmm
me
Uh-huh.
who he was, and I still don't know who the fuck he is. So
He's.
I'm
Did you
so
ever see?
sorry.
Did you ever? Did you
Who the
ever
fuck
see
is he?
Mean Girls? See Mean Girls from like 20 years ago?
Maybe.
Oh, you
He's like
had
the
to have seen
big
Mean
out.
Girls.
He's
Who's
like the
in it?
big outlandish queer girl, queer guy in it who's like, two for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco. And
Okay,
like,
yes, if we
you know,
casted a movie, if we casted a movie though with like us and some other Drag Race girls for Mean Girls, Dom would definitely be Daniel Franchese's
Yell
character.
Franchese. He's like
Yeah,
just a
he
big
gay guy.
like queer gay guy,
Yeah.
who's very
Okay.
effeminate and like whatever. And I actually have, I didn't say this in the text because I wanted to tell you this story in person. I actually
Okay.
have a
Yes,
story about
I
Danielle
believe it.
Franchese, and
Well, the bear world is very small.
he will here's the tea. So I was hosting at a gay bar in Brooklyn that is now closed called This and That, and I was hosting
Oh yeah,
whatever, and in walks Danielle Franchese, and this was like
Danielle.
Franchise. What a
13
name.
years ago, whatever his name is, Dan.
I don't know his name.
What
Like this is the first time I heard it out loud when Dia said it. So I'm like, who the fuck is this
and
person?
in he walks to the bar, and I just like pulled him aside, and I was like, I just need to let you know, I want to thank you so much for doing that character. It was it's so important to have like queer representation in movies that isn't so like negative or has all these awful connotations to it, and you were just completely yourself and completely like visible for in this epic movie for queer people everywhere. And he goes,
I'm not
I'm not
gay.
gay.
I knew it.
What?
He said, I'm not gay. This was
What?
before he came out.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And
Because
Got
he
you.
he
wanted to be
said
a serious actor, right? So
he
he
wanted to
thought
be
if
a
he was
serious
straight.
actor. And by the way, I'm talking like we're not at like the
Now, this and
Bowery.
that is a little hole in the wall gay bar
It
in
is a
It's
Brooklyn.
like you have
little
to know.
tiny
It was a
hole.
hallway of a bar.
Like it
It's a
was a
hallway.
hallway. There was maybe 10 people there, three of them drag queens. I was speaking
Uh,
alone to him. And all he had to do was in that moment be like,
So
thank
thank
you for
you.
saying that. I really appreciate that. By the way, I'm not out, but like, I really want you to know how much that meant to me. And instead, he chose to make me feel like an asshole and
and then he
lie.
kicked you in
I
the face
understand.
and called you a faggot.
No, he literally was like, "I'm not gay," and but in my when I responded to it, I said, "Get out of here, girl." Like I was like, get out of here. Because not only was he still acting like the queer character from the movie in person, like
Hmm.
I was like, can you just are you serious right now? He's like, yeah,
It's
no, I'm not gay.
always
I'm
the
sorry.
girls. It's always the girls,
So
honey.
all I want to say about that is you never know who you're speaking to and who will have a podcast later on and who you're going to be commenting on stuff with. But I'm literally like I think we follow each other. I don't remember. Maybe he followed me for a second. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he follows me on Twitter because he probably would. But the fact that he made like this drag queen queer person feel bad about saying something so lovely to him in the moment, and then choose to like say like I'm not sitting at this table, this podcast, like to say something negative about what was said, like I kind of like I'm like, okay, girl, like I see you now. So
Well, we
ew.
can't get upset with people for in the past he was trying to come to terms with his queerness. So everyone's on their own journey. So we can't bug him for that, but
Totally.
I do think
Totally.
him not sitting at our table and leaving that comment this week was just kind of like, girl, I don't even know if you know the whole story because you weren't fucking there. So how about you take your check, take your residuals check from a movie you did 20 years ago and go find a different lunch table
He's
then,
not
honey.
he's not making any money off that movie. He's not
Yeah.
doing anything. Who the fuck is he? That is the real tea. You had to explain who he is to me. Your example to me was not even a movie made in the last 10 years. And I mean a
Blue
movie by
girl.
Wow Entertainment. Not even like Bianca Del Rio hoo-ha movie. Like, girl,
I, I just
Well,
I don't appreciate people like lying to me about some like okay, and like what you said, Dia, yes, he was on his own journey, but I'm not TMZ. I was a queer person standing in front of another queer person
it's
giving him
true.
his flowers, and in
It's
that
true.
moment he chose to like smack me down instead
Hmm.
of just being like thank you. Just he didn't even have to confirm he was queer. He could have just said thank you for saying that.
well,
But
that
That's
seems to be
true.
a
instead,
through line because he didn't have to chime in and comment about something he didn't know anything about, but he decided to.
blue that
That's the
part.
tea.
That
Well, okay,
part.
wait.
Because
Other than
like,
Daniel
bitch, you
Franchi,
weren't there. It's so
no, go ahead,
tiring when people
Acid.
like you were not on the main stage. I'm so tired. You know, like people like only Rue girls get it. Was like there is so much that is unsaid and you don't see on the main stage, backstage, on the red car, all this shit. So it's so offensive when someone who's in entertainment all of a sudden comes in and is like, "Oh, I know." You don't know. Even if you were a judge behind the thing, you still have no idea what is happening behind the back wall of that main stage. So for us to just question, did that happen? It's not even like, oh, Ginger is a liar. It literally is like so much happens in such a small amount of time that
Hmm.
sometimes you do remember things differently or wrong or you forget a lot. So I wasn't even
Fully.
coming at her, maybe I'm just circling back, but I wasn't coming at her like she's a liar and blah blah. It literally was like, did that happen? Like I had to like jog my brain, like I don't recall them singing. Like I think I would have had, and I'm like, no, I would have had a physical reaction if they did. Like that, like I had to go back and be like, not like, oh, she's a liar.
Yeah.
Like
You were asking
goodbye.
Daya, you were asking for Daya and Denali to confirm or deny what you weren't
Yeah,
sure happened. That's all.
Yeah. And
because
honestly,
it could have happened. It
girl,
could have
if,
happened.
but the thing is, Acid, and you know this very well, if it did happen, I think more than just one person would remember it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we all
whatever.
just had some sort of
Also,
disassociative thing. But other people that commenting on our post. So there was one night I get home from the
Bob,
Vegas show and it was like, yeah, Bob commented on it. Shout out to Bob, bobbleheads out there.
he,
Oh, really?
Bob literally
Yes.
said, "I've been trying to tell y'all."
And then Mistress, of course, did
Oh,
like the laugh
You
reaction
didn't see that
okay.
one?
emojis. Well,
Oh
no, remember
no, I didn't see any of this.
well, I
Of
think
course.
those were on TikTok. I think those were on TikTok comments. Yeah, Georges commented,
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The,
Mistress,
Bob was
Bob.
Aquaria commented,
Oh,
and
so
all
That's
their
crazy.
that's why that
yes,
guy Daniel came on, right? Because so he was
yes.
just trying to get Ginger's back because apparently Ginger didn't have any support. So I get that, but he ain't a friend of Ginger and he ain't a friend of ours. So goodbye.
Yeah,
Go
no,
for it.
he said something like, "I'm not going to sit at this table." He said, "I'm not going to. This is not the table, the lunch table for me." And I wanted to comment and be like, "Who invited you to sit down with us?"
Well, I was just gonna say, so the other night,
Oh
and I guess
no.
What?
this can be my thorn for the week because this was my thorn for the week. The other night, after the show, Kylie Sonique and I went to get a bite of food, and we were gonna go get pizza, and the pizza place that we wanted to go to was closed. And I was like, "This is fucking Vegas. Why is it closed at like midnight?" So we went to this Mexican restaurant in this strip mall, and I brought it home. I was eating. I lay
Mm.
down to go to bed, and then it was like, mind you, I don't go to bed till like 4 a.m. here because it's just how my clock works. But 8 o'clock rolls around, and I start vomiting. And then 11 o'clock rolls around and I can't stop vomiting. And then I'm having to go, I'm supposed to go to the theater by like, I think I have to give our manager a heads up at like by 4 o'clock if something's going on and I need them to cover something for me. And it was 4 o'clock and I was still vomiting. So I had like the worst case of like food poisoning or a 24-hour flu or something this week, and it tore my shit up. I have not felt like that in so long. I haven't been sick like that since I was like probably in like college. It was terrible. And I was so dehydrated. I had to drink Pedialyte,
Oh my!
which
I just kept
I
picturing you
like
in Bridesmaids or something.
this, and I would never wish that on my worst enemy. I thought I was like gonna have to go to the hospital because I started getting so dehydrated. And then with my blood sugar and being diabetic, like if you can't keep stuff down and your blood sugar's all fucked up, then you're like
Oh
screwed,
yeah,
baby.
I didn't even think
That's
of that.
scary.
It's so scary. And then I was like stressed because I just joined live and it was my first week. And I was like, I felt bad I had to call off work for a day, but what can you do?
So that's your thorn. What's your rose, Jaya?
My rose is that my brother just unprompted, decided to take a trip with his girlfriend down to Vegas to come see me, which was like so cool
Aw.
and like unexpected and not really his vibe. So, I was really happy to see them. We went to a nice little steak dinner yesterday. So, except for I got a medium well done steak and then it was really pink. And I was like, I don't want to be too risky with this because
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And then Tanner flew down as well. So we just had like, it's so weird being adults because I still picture us as kids in my brain. And how we reacted and interacted with each other as kids was so different than it is now as adults. And I'm really thankful that we kind of grown our relationship to be where we can be in the same room and not feel like we want to kill each other.
That's
You know?
good.
Aw.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've had a really good, other than my terrible puke attack, it's been a good week. What about you guys? What's your roses and thorns?
Mhm. I mean, I could be completely honest if I
Hmm.
guess. So my thorn is I got diagnosed as bipolar 2, which is
Okay.
mood swings with very low depressions and stuff like that. And I've been trying to find the right medicine cocktail for literally the past 6 months. And I just switched my medication again because there's always something really, really wrong with the medication. Either I become so constipated, not TMI, but like I become so constipated, I literally poop like once every 3 days, or yeah, or
It's not good for
I get
business, Dom.
oh no, 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 like it's so bad. Or like the other one made me have like convulsions, like not convulsions, but like I was shaking like literally I would wake up like this, and it was like terrifying.
Shit.
So this is the fourth medication I've tried in 6 months, and so my thorn is that some doctors really just don't know what to do. like
Yeah.
the doctor's trying, but like my thorn is like I just want to get better. I've been trying to get better for so long. I'm kind of like at my wit's end about this. Um, and I think this is becoming like whenever I do rose and thorn, I'm like, and it's also my rose. My rose is also that I'm trying to get better. So like
Hmm.
back 6 months ago, I couldn't get out of bed. That's how bad my depression was, to the point where I was so depressed I stopped eating and drinking, and I gave myself kidney stones. That's how bad my depression was. That I became so lethargic and so dehydrated. I had to go to the hospital because I started to pee blood and I had kidney stones. Um,
Oh.
so so my rose is I'm not at that place anymore. I'm not at the
Hmm.
place I want to be, but I'm not at the worst part of my life, you know.
Can
Um,
I ask you, Dom, like for the diagnosis, how did you? go about finding all of that out? Just because I'm sure there's people listening or, that have things that they feel similarly that they don't know how to even go about getting help or treatment for. Like, what was that process like for you?
Good question. So I started to go to therapy about a year ago, for
Hmm.
other reasons. And I decided I was just going to be like brutally honest with this therapist, where like I wasn't like, I'm fine, things are good, like da da da, like that sort of thing. But instead, I was just like, I literally almost killed someone because they got my egg order wrong this morning, or like I or I was like I went to the gym and I started screaming at people naked. But like I'm giving the shortened versions of these stories,
Yeah.
but essential like I'll give you the gym story really quick. So like I was changing and I love my body. I have no problems with my body, whatever. And I was standing there, I was texting someone naked because I was like in the middle of changing and I got an important text and I was like, oh, let me answer this. And then all of a sudden I hear
Hmm.
laughing from across the locker room. And I look up and there's these two teenagers, like
Hmm.
obviously making fun of me. Like they're not pointing and laughing, but they're like
Just
pushing
feel the
each other.
vibe.
They're like pushing each other into the locker room, like, oh, it's a joke, like who can walk in to the naked man or whatever. And
Hmm.
I just flipped out on them. Like I flipped out on them. I was like, "You little fucking shits! How dare you make fun of someone's body? You're a piece of shit!" Like I literally went insane. And they're like, I'm not. I call them teenagers. They were probably like 15, 16, 17. You know.
Okay,
And
teenagers.
these, well, I'm not. Some people might be picturing 13-year-olds, but these were like almost adults. You know what I mean?
Enough
And
not to do, like, no, to not to do that, or like,
not to do that. And this wave of rage came over me, and I'm like screaming. And they left, and then I started getting dressed, and I was fully clothed. And then they came back in, and I was like, "Oh, I'm fully dressed now, so you don't need to laugh and point at people's bodies." And they were like, "Oh no, sir, like we weren't making fun of you." And I was just like, "I know exactly what you were fucking doing." As somebody who was
Hmm.
bullied their entire life, I know exactly what was happening in that moment. Like,
Totally.
don't fucking try and make it worse by lying. And I was like, and not only are you fucking assholes, you're fucking pussies for not standing up for yourselves, because you fucking are even lying to me now because you saw a 300-pound man about to kick your fucking ass. Like, it was that sort of instance. Whatever.
God, I'd
So I
be so
talk about this.
scared if Dom started yelling
Yeah.
at me like in a dressing room at a fucking
Yeah.
Y.
Oh,
I'd
I
be
get
like,
crazy.
whoa, that's
And
crazy.
I told my therapist the story, and he was just like, "Okay, do you think you could have reacted differently?" And I was like, "Honestly, no, because I know who I am. I
Hmm.
know what I make a living off my body. Like I have no problems with my body. I know who I am. I'm very happy with the way I look. But for somebody else that could have happened to, maybe somebody who didn't go to the gym that often, and like maybe for the first time they felt comfortable going to the gym, and to have these
Hmm.
fucking teenagers laughing at them, that's what made me fucking enraged, because I was like, how dare you do this to anyone, especially me, but like do this to anyone, because you don't know what somebody's going on in their head. Somebody could have like literally never gone to the gym again because of that instance. Anyway, so I tell my therapist the story. And he's like, I understand what you're saying, but like, why is it your responsibility to justify like making that type of reaction in the moment? Like, you could have probably, and I like understood what he was saying. I don't believe my reaction if I was like, hey guys, I noticed you're kind of like making fun of me, it's kind of hurting my feelings, that would not have worked with
Yeah, I'm like,
teenagers.
what are you gonna do? Go up there and be like, hey guys, I noticed you guys were looking
Yeah,
at me and
yeah,
snarkling and chuckling,
yeah.
like, girl.
And I understand, like literally that would not have worked on them. They would have been like, "Puh, faggot," and then like started again another day. But I guarantee, because of my fucking reaction, they will never do that shit again. And anyway, the point of the
See?
story is these little micro instances of like things. I was at Disney World and somebody ate my food without my permission. Like not my friend, somebody I didn't know started eating my food off my plate in Disney, and
What?
I
Well, that would
yeah.
piss
Oh my
anyone
god.
off, girl.
Oh my god. Oh my
What are you
god. I
talking about?
So we're getting on such a far tangent, but like
But
That's
what are
you
you
know
talking
those
about? Someone literally ate your food?
some
Like
like
what?
random.
so at Disney these they have service counters where it's not a sit down restaurant. You go place your food order and then you go to somewhere else to pick it up. And I had ordered very specifically because I was ordering for my friends 3 fries and 3 chicken fingers. So I placed my order. We go to wait for the food, and the guy puts up the tray of 2 chicken wings and 2 French fries, but not the third. And I was like, oh, that's probably going to be mine. Like, I know that's mine because I'm the only one still waiting here. And this bitch, he didn't call my name yet. He didn't call my number. He didn't call my number, so I didn't take it because I'm waiting for them to call my number like a respectable human being. And this bitch with her friends are like talking or whatever, and she reaches over and starts eating that food. And I literally walked over to her and I went, I really hope that's your fucking food. And she looked at me like, it is. Like, whatever. And
Wait,
I
and this
was
was at
like,
Disney World, the Disney World or
at Disney
Disneyland?
World,
It was just
Disney
Ginger
World.
Minge. It was Ginger Minge. Just kidding.
Wow, this
At,
is like the
at, at
Ginger Minge
her lunch
hate
table, at her
podcast.
lunch table with Daniel Franchese. Just kidding.
That's right.
Well, girl, it gets so much better. So, she's like, it is. This is what I ordered. And I was like, okay. He didn't call a number, but okay. And literally, as we're talking about this, he puts the third order of chicken fingers and fries on the tray and goes, 278, Dominic, which is my name, Dominic. And I looked at her and I looked at him and I said, I'm not eating that because she's been fucking eating it like a fucking like animal while you've had your back turned. And I don't know whose else food she's been eating and picking off of, but I'm pretty sure that's not legal. And I'm pretty sure in the days of COVID, she would have been escorted out of here with a entourage of policemen. And he looked at me and he was just like I could see in his face like I don't get paid enough for this. Like I
Totally. He
get
was like
it.
a 17-year-old kid. He's like, God damn
I
it.
get it. But like the fact that this woman is so rude, this is where all my rage comes from is rude people,
Sure.
essentially. Anyway, so these little things keep happening to me, and I kept telling my therapist, like, this is why I don't like going outside. This is why I don't like people. This is why
Mm.
I am enraged, and it takes so little to set me off. And he was like, well, I really think, you need to look at these incidences and see what like the motif of all of them are. It seems to be always when you think something is not being justified or when you think somebody's attacking your ego. And I was just like, okay, but at the same time I'm right. But like I'm not like walking into a supermarket screaming at someone and then leaving.
No, that's
Like they're
me.
like literally I'm like I'm literally walking into a supermarket watching someone trip me and then go, I didn't trip you. Like it's like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So I anyway, the point of the story is I was brutally honest with this therapist for a year and I explained to him all the ways that like I was having these intense mood swings and these massive depressive states where I couldn't leave bed. And we got the diagnosis. Also, I should mention my dad is bipolar 1,
Okay.
which is like bipolar 2 except bipolar 1 you have uh I forgot what it's called. Manic episodes. Manic episodes. You're very
Mm.
intense, and you get energized. But I don't have that. I only have the lows.
Okay.
When I told my dad I was finally diagnosed, he was like, "Oh, you're missing all the fun." Talking
Oh
about
my
mania, he was like,
God.
"This is my father." He was like, "You're missing the fun.
Jesus.
I'm so sorry you're dealing with this, and I'm sorry you're having all the lows, but the manic stages are really fun." And I was like, "Thanks, Dad."
So you said type the first kind is only if they have mania, or do they have mania and the depressive?
Both. They have
They
both.
have
For type one,
both.
from what I understand, because I've like I'm trying to grasp this as much as I can. Type
Hmm.
one, they have manic episodes and depressive episodes, mood swings. It's characterized by a bunch of things, but like the main thing with bipolar one is the mania. And
Hmm.
bipolar two, you can have mania sometimes. I've never experienced it. I've seen my dad in a manic episode. It's the most terrifying thing of your entire life. Trust me.
Hmm.
But I don't have that. I just have really low lows. So that's why I'm being diagnosed as bipolar 2 depressive or whatever.
At least you're like doing the
So
steps to get it all figured out, though. Like that's that, like you said, for
yeah,
your rose of the week. Like That's a good thing. A lot of people don't even get to that point, so you should give yourself a pat on the back for that, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, like
Yes.
it's been a long
Self-help.
process and I just want it to be done. Like not be done because I know that like mental health is never a done deal and you're never just like
Right.
perfect, but like to be trying to get on the right medication for 6 months and like having it not work time after time and after again, it's like really daunting. But like the rose is I'm trying,
Hmm.
that's the rose that I'm trying.
Endurance,
Um,
honey. Endurance is key.
yeah, exactly. Um,
Okay.
Acid, what's your rose and thorn?
I was just thinking about how I have like three more shows. Um,
That's your thorn. That's your
no,
thorn.
it's not really, but I was kind of like, oh my God, I'm not even halfway through my like crazy week of performances. Um,
She's a world
my
traveler,
rose,
honey.
what is my rose? I'm Dia now. Um, my rose. What was my rose? Oh yeah, my rose isn't random, but like I've been having issues finding dog sitters. I mean, I've been
Mm,
finding dog sitters, but my dog has been getting returned to me sick. And
crazy.
so I think I finally found someone who watches her and I don't get her back sick.
That's
Now, is
amazing.
it's not that one woman that we picked up Lilith at that one time, right? You haven't used her again.
No, no,
Okay.
she was okay, but I haven't used her. But there was this other lady that I went to, and then my dog came back with all these like the vet said water
Bumps and
blisters on her
stuff.
nose. So
Yeah,
there's like
weird.
there was like bleeding. Um,
Hmm.
and then I tried to
Ugh.
find someone else, and I couldn't. I tried to go to that one lady we went to that you met, and then I couldn't. So I dropped her
Hmm.
off for a day or two at that same place. And
Hmm.
Okay.
again, my dog came back with like a bleeding nose and like swollen on the other side, and an ear
Girl, no.
infection.
Yeah, not good news. Like that, something's going on there. Does she have a lot of dogs? Like maybe there's like a weird water infection or something.
That's like what the internet says. It has to do with like dirty water or
Yeah.
something
Is
of
it
the
like
sort.
water that's
So
just
I wonder if,
sitting?
yeah, that's kind of like, or it has something to do with cleanliness. So it's like dirty water or dirty bowls. That like that's what the internet says.
Hmm.
But yeah, so she's with a guy now that like is a photographer and takes her to like a park, and I see her roaming without a leash, which I'm sure she's so happy about because she's
Totally.
always on a leash, and she looks ecstatic. She's on the water. There's like this riverbed that I've seen photos, and she looks like she's having a freaking blast. So I'm
Now,
super
Oh,
stoked
that's
that I found
awesome.
someone. Hopefully,
is that guy single? Because that would be a great meet cute.
I think he has a daughter because there's a little girl that's always around. I think he might be like a single dad
Okay,
We
situation.
I
love a
mean,
daddy.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we
gonna
love a
say.
daddy.
Oh, you would like him,
maybe
dog. You would definitely like him.
Oh,
girl,
I'm
maybe
sure.
he's
I'm
your
I'm already
match.
making plans to come pick you up with your dog.
No, he's a cool. He's
100%.
cool, and he's a
Where
photographer. Like where I drop them off, it's a photography studio, but I think it's also where they live. So it's like a studio in the front, and
huh.
then he was telling me, I guess it's like an apartment in the back.
Well, where did you find
Interesting
this guy?
artist
Where did you find him?
on
Craigslist?
Rover. No
Rover,
Rover.
Rover. Why don't you come over?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well,
So
that's
he's
good. Now
cool,
you don't
and
feel
he'll.
so stressed leaving your baby behind.
No, I mean, hopefully, like this will be the test. If she comes back healthy, then I know that I found the right place, and it was that crazy woman's dirty place or
And
something.
maybe she'll come back with a fresh set of headshots.
Well, I'll send them to you. Does. She
Wait,
has. He
shut the fuck
does.
up. Did he take them for you?
Like that's what I'm saying. When I saw a picture on the riverbed and in the far, he's literally taking like art shots, like with the sun behind her, and like you know what I mean. Like it's
That's sweet.
picturesque. Like she's a model. Yeah, it's
No,
like
I love
literally.
that. He's a keeper,
She
Acid.
is
He's a
a
Yeah,
model.
keeper.
I think that's his like side hustles, like photography or like pet photography or something. So I think he's just like a hustler. So work it out.
Love
I love a
that.
hustler.
Love
So.
that.
So what was
Okay,
that?
so that was your
Was that my
rose.
thorn or oh that was
That
my
was your
rose. Now
rose.
my thorn, I know it's so weird because they were so petty, it sounded so negative. My thorn is my horrible addiction to Halloween decorations. Well, because they're supporting Trump, they put a lot of
Mm,
money into like the Trump campaigns and a lot of like hate toward. I mean, utilize the word boycott a lot, but like we really shouldn't be giving our money like to like someone who wants homosexuals dead or something.
right.
But they make some great Halloween like props and things, and I like watch them when they're on sale. Like sometimes they'll like drop 50% like out of nowhere. And I bought
Okay.
this massive 10-foot spider.
Oh my
Love that.
God.
We have to name it. We
Oh
need to name
no.
it.
Also because like like if you know or like I love for some reason like like color changing things like lights that color change like that. I don't know why. This is something I love. And this spider has like eyes and a body that like rainbow color change.
Oh,
So
that's
when I
so
saw that, I
Slay.
was
cool.
just like, and I have like a 50-foot spider web that like hangs from my house over to like the front of the house. So when you come to my house, you have to walk under the spider web. And so and then I
Uh-huh.
have another one. So it's gonna be like a great addition to like have like the actual spider. Like and I'm gonna put it like on top of my shed. So when you drive down my driveway, it'll be like looking at you, or when you like leave like my front door, it'll be like looking right at you. I'm so like so
Oh my
stoked.
God, I'm so mad I'm missing Halloween this year.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
And
so
it's
sick.
it's a
I'm,
Wait,
I'm,
hundred pounds.
who's
how
helping
much?
you put
What?
all this
A
up? Do you
hundred
just put it up yourself?
girl. I thought it was only 60 pounds, and I was like, oh yeah, I got this. I could put that on the shed. And then when I saw the box was like 100 pounds. And I was like, 100 pounds?
Yeah,
Oh
girl, you need
my
a forklift,
God.
bitch.
Oh no, I'm gonna get a ladder and I'm gonna build it on top of the shed. I've already figured it out. I'm like, I already moved stuff to light it because I'm gonna put black lights. I'm gonna do like I'm gonna paint it so it's like it's really vibrant.
Uh-huh.
Oh my
Well, you
God, be
make sure you
careful,
don't,
girl.
yeah, break your neck falling off the top
No,
of the
please be
roof,
careful.
girl.
Ye
She's she's
bitch,
like, I'm gonna
I had a 500-pound treadmill that I pulled and dragged and literally almost killed myself up the stairs. Remember, I was like, Alana, I need your help, and then I just
yeah.
didn't wait. I'm not joking, it was 400 pounds.
Oh
We
Four.
my
need to
God.
I
invest. We need to get
almost
you one of
killed
those.
myself.
We need to get you one of those old people like things that go up the stairs where you just sit in it and it's like a, you know what I'm talking about, and it like
Yeah,
goes slowly up the stairs. That way you can
I
have it
almost,
for later, but also so you
I
can
almost bought a
transport
house that had
things.
that. Were you
Well,
there, Alana, when we would look at that house?
I
Remember
was, and you were like, I love
all the
this
red
because
carpeting?
yeah, no, Acid is very handicap aware and wants
Because
people
my
to
mother.
be because of her
Yes.
mother and loves accessibility. I think actually I think you put in a ramp for
Yes.
Halloween for somebody for Halloween and you just left it up permanently at your house.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
She loves
Always
Yeah, I
thinking,
mean,
accessibility.
baby.
well, my mother is was a paraplegic, so she lost all her at some point lost all of the feeling below her waist. And then after 2 years or something, she kind of got like a little bit of percentage back, so she would like drag her feet around basically, like that's how she would walk.
Hmm.
Um but so I'm just very sensitive to that. And all of her friends, a lot of her friends didn't end up walking, so they're all wheelchair bound. So that's
Hmm.
why I'm so aware of it because I was raised around it. Like my mom was handicapped, so I was like, I have to be aware of it. But yeah, I put in a ramp and also in the back. So like my friend with a
Hmm.
wheelchair can go onto the deck in the back too. Yeah. I
Yeah.
ramped it
Oh
up,
my gosh.
girl.
And your strawberry package, because you just talked about the back, your back in the back of your house. Your strawberry patches, you
Oh
have so
yeah.
many strawberries. That's so sickening. Girl.
I never share photos. I guess I should. That was kind of like the first time. Because really, I took those photos for my sister because it was her. She gave me one strawberry plant, like one. And now
Hmm.
you saw it's like 20 or 30 or 40.
Multiplying.
It's like a little patch now. And so
Hmm.
I'll give her updates, like, and then the reason why I took those photos because she'd understand one time I was like, wow, I used to gate off the strawberry patch because I didn't want my dog to trample on it. And then my dog would jump the fence anyway because my dog's like a mini husky. She can literally like leap.
Hmm.
So I was like, okay, let me not like fence it all the way. And now she like sunbathes there. Like
Oh,
so
I
she will
love
go
that.
to the strawberry patch and then lie down.
No, we talked briefly about lunch tables, and I just want to bring the conversation back to that because I want to
Hmm.
know in high school, that
Hmm.
part of the Mean Girls movie is that there's different tables. There's like the band geeks and the art people and like the stuff like that. So I wanted to
Okay.
know what table did y'all sit at in high school in the lunchroom?
Oh, see, I was such a loner. Well, I had a jewelry business when I was 15.
That's so
Oh, you're
fierce.
super
And
crafty.
She's
I
always
was a
been making
crafty
money,
queen,
honey. She's
and
always
I was
making that
selling to
money.
It's true. I was selling to Nordstrom's. So I was like a mini celebrity, so I felt kind of out. I also wore my jewelry, so I always had like this big dragon thing on my chest. So I hung out in the library. I at lunch I would literally go to the library, and there's like one random nerd kid that was there, and we would just be like, hey. And then like later in life, I would literally hang out with my English teacher. I literally would go to my English teacher, and we would
Oh my
literally
God.
like chill.
Me and you acid are so alike. I didn't have that many friends. I had friends in the later once I came out and joined the football team and all those things, but like from my high school went from 7th to 12th grade, and
Hmm.
from like 7th to like 10th grade, I ate lunch in the computer lab with the
Yeah, so it's
computer
very
teacher.
similar. Yeah.
And
Wait, they
like
had computers back then, Dom?
but the funniest story about this, how dare you? Well, now they don't
That
even
was
have
literally when computers were invented. That's why they were there, because it was like
literally,
they had
and
wait, hold up, pause. The government actually made sure that we had computers in computer labs because they realized how important the technology was. But you know what the
Mhm.
technology was? It was like a little turtle, and you would have to put in coordinates, and that was literally all you did. You put like 102, and then the turtle would go there, and then you put in this coordinate, and then by the end, the turtle would make a drawing.
Okay.
That was like our computer training, because there was like black and white printers. It was like the dot matrix printer that's like the
Hmm.
dots along the side, and it would just print like in one color. Girl,
well,
yeah,
the gag is now they don't even have computer labs because everybody has a computer. That's the
right,
Right.
gag. Like
yeah.
literally, I had my 20-year high school reunion, and I did a tour of the school, and I was like, "Where's the computer lab?" And they were like, "We don't have one anymore, dude. Like we have everyone has a computer. Nobody needs the computer
So
lab,
crazy.
you know." But the
We were the
funny story,
first on
you were
on our
what?
block, really quick, to have a computer for like years. Like we were like the neighborhood talk. People would come over to look at our computer. We had it in a room where you could put up the window and you could see it from the street.
No, the one story I wanted to tell was because I was the only kid who ate lunch at the computer lab. So the thing that happened was I got in trouble because apparently somebody was making porn the wallpaper of the computers in the lab.
Oh my God, that's
And
so me.
And
since
it
I
was
was
you, yeah.
no, actually wasn't me, but I got blamed for it and I got into a lot of trouble. And I was like, I'm with the teacher the whole time. We're just eating lunch. And like, I wouldn't do that. And finally, they found out who was doing it. And it wasn't me, but
I
it was
remember
funny.
going to the library and searching beefcake on Netscape. Netscape was the browser. And I always remember every time I'd be like, beefcake. Like I remember, and then I would like leave it on the computer in the library.
Oh my God.
I love that. No, my brother one time he Googled women without brawls, but he spelt it BRAWLS.
That's so
Ah,
funny.
And
wait,
my mom found it on our computer at home, and I was like, I promise you that was not me.
Dia, where did you sit during lunch?
Well, our school. Well, first of all, I want to say something about the laptop or the computer labs because we had something called cows, and it meant computer on wheels, and it was like a rolly cart that had little laptops that you could rent. And so rent out, you just sign your name and what time and date. But that was like our computer lab, is they would like roll those around to different classrooms, and then classrooms would set up days and times that they need them. So that was kind of what we did. But our school had like long lunch tables, kind of like Hogwarts, but it wasn't fancy. It was just like shitty. But it wasn't like specific tables were certain groups, but like the group that I kind of filtered into was like the music kids. So like all
Hmm.
the kids in like chorus, and like the band was kind of on the other side, but I was down more the like vocalists or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Ours wasn't really like groups per se, in that sense, because when I think of like lunch tables, especially like a Mean Girls and stuff, it was like separates, but we all were on like one big table, so everyone kind of sat together, but like I hung around all the music kids.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I once I became a little more like the story ends is I won most popular in senior year because everybody knew Big Gay Dom at the school because I was the first out kid in my high school, and I was the first kid to bring a same-sex partner to prom.
Ooh, that's sickening.
And sickening. I'm very proud of that. And all the time when I tell people that, people were like, "Oh my God, you're so brave," and I was like, "No, I was 6'2" and 300 pounds. Like,
No one's gonna fuck with
who
you.
who is gonna? Well, they fucked with me, they did, but like once I so from like 7th to 10th grade, I was bullied beyond like the worst in the world. Like people, I've told stories like whatever. But once I started to like own my sexuality and own who I was, and like
Hmm.
they'd be like faggot, I'd be like, yeah, why? You looking for a blowjob, asshole?
I was such a loner that I mean, because I was doing so much out of school that
Huh.
I really didn't have any friends or connection. I think I was kind of like the nerd or like I don't know, I think I was kind of like a reject of school. But my senior year, I don't know how it happened, but someone who was involved in school, or whatever, decided to utilize the fact that I was doing theater, like I was in theater
Hmm.
doing all this shit the whole time.
Hmm.
So I like created we had halftime like the games, and we had two halftime shows, and I created them, like mixed the music, and we lip synced them, and it was like a story, like we traveled in time to the 80s, and we like whatever, it's like a
Yes.
stupid
Time
like whatever high school
machine.
thing. And then that went over so well that then when they had the school, was it, and you would like people would run for president, or whatever, that I got tasked to edit all the videos together. And so instead of doing like running for class president, we would like act shit out. So one time we were pretending like it was cops, and we like raided a van and pulled some like my friends out. Like there were some homeless white people, and then we did like Baywatch, and we like filmed like my friends like slow running and on a jeep. And I became like famous, like not famous, but like the most popular kid in high school, like my senior year. And it was
Oh my
like
Okay.
god.
it was so weird because I was also in the videos, so people knew who I was, and they were like, "Oh, we love that Baywatch, whatever," or because we did all kinds of whatever weird shit. But so it was like such a weird mind fuck to go from literally a loner
Hmm.
reject to like senior year, all of a sudden it was like the hottest, coolest kid,
But did
like
they give
That's
you a
literally.
amazing.
superlative? Did they make you, did they like whenever in your
But
yearbook?
no, but I
No, they
never,
didn't.
yeah, no, I never won any of those things. But I was just thinking about, I was like with like the popular kids, like they were my friends, but we never hung out after school. That's what I mean. I was such a weird loner. But
Mm.
like I knew every popular kid, and I knew even the secret parties that were happening. Like,
Hmm.
like Friday night, it's this person's. Now I could say it, and because I knew it, me and my friends, we would go by the parties and egg them
Work.
That's so sickening. Girl,
and hope
okay.
that they mention it, and they'd be like, and I'd be like, "How was the party?" And I'm like hoping something like, "We got egged." Be like, "You got egged?"
Or like you would be the one to call the police on them. You would like be petty and call the police on the party. Be like, so,
Oh.
I heard that there was this
Um,
underage drinking.
No, but I definitely crashed the parties multiple.
I actually did that in college. So in college, I wasn't a big partier until I hit college, and then for my senior year of college, I was like anti-party. Like I went a little too hard the first 3 years of
Prude.
college, and then by the senior year, I was like, no drinking, no drugs, no nothing. Like I'm done with this lifestyle. But my roommates, and I actually don't think they know this, uh, my roommates were throwing a party and I was trying to sleep, so I called the cops on the party because I wanted to go
You
to sleep.
bitch.
I was just like, and I like all of a sudden I heard like everyone leave, and I came out of my room. I'm like, what happened? And they were like,
Wait,
somebody called the cops.
okay, so
Wow, I've never
y'all
called the cops.
would have hated me then because on the flip side, especially senior year, I was friends with a lot of girls. Like girls were kind of always my comfort, and so all of my girlfriends were pretty well known in school. And so I would go to the parties because of them. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of like I was the tag along. Like I'm only like the girls would be like, I'm only gonna come if I can bring Trenton, like if I can bring him. So I would always be going to these parties, but my town was such a small town one time, and I do not condone this. No one should be doing this, but when you're young and stupid and from the middle of nowhere country, you go to a party, and after you've been partaking in activities, you get in a car and you're not supposed to. Well, my town was so small that one time me and my friends were coming back from a party when we should not have been in a car. And one of the policemen pulled us over, but it was a dad of somebody we went to school with, and they knew that the party was also happening, and so they just escorted us back to my friend's house, which
Aw.
Wow.
that could have went so bad, but like,
Uh, to be
yeah,
privileged
senior.
and white. Oh,
I mean, unfortunately, I do understand
oh,
my
to be
privilege.
white.
Yes, I do understand the privilege there, but yeah, I got really rambunctious my senior year, but like before that, I kind of kept to myself and just I was
Girl,
actually very smart.
I stole
I,
street signs. Like I had 7 or 8 street signs Like I was crazy in high
Okay,
school
wait.
as
And
a
you
kid.
still are. You still are.
You
You're
know those
like in high school. You're
My
like in high
God.
school. I was crazy. I was stealing signs and editing videos, and I'm like, yeah,
I
not
know.
much
You're
has
I
still
know.
doing
changed.
it.
No, literally editing cuckoo like videos like in high school. It's so true. It's the same thing. I'm still doing it.
My best friend in college, our very freshman year of college, he would, speaking of stealing signs, he would steal, you know, those arms that don't let you drive out of parking lots unless you
Yes.
pay? He would just drive through them because he was never going to pay the fees for them. And literally every single one on our campus, he would drive through, break, and then he'd put it in the back of his, like, his little SUV crossover. And then he had a collection of those fucking arms from all the parking lots. God.
We
And
would
then
have
I
been
remember
friends.
like one of our last days of college, he had to get rid of all of them. He's like, I don't even know how to even get this out of my my dorm room.
Well,
But it was sickening.
I literally came to like the last sign I stole was a stop sign, and I wanted the pole too, and I had like a CRV, like a little like whatever. So my best friend at the
Yeah.
time, he had a truck, and I was like, Jeff, you need to come out with us tonight. He's like, why? I was like, I need to get that stop sign, and we're just gonna put it in the back of your truck. So I got the stop sign put in the back of the truck, and then a year or two later, like my mom was gonna sell the house, and that's apparently when I discovered that having street signs was illegal.
Illegal.
Yeah, girl. Yeah,
Especially stop
stop signs can.
signs.
Yeah,
And
stop signs cause
so
like
then,
severe accidents.
girl, I literally went after the signs I wanted. I had a stop sign, one way sign, the full like a signal, like red, whatever, like a signal coming up sign. Like I picked signs that I wanted and I stole them. Like I literally was that
Oh,
girl.
oh my
Hey,
God.
baby. I mean, it's what else are you gonna do? You're young, dumb, and you don't, there's nothing going on. You can't do anything else for fun.
Yeah.
Um,
So maybe we should intro. You're listening to the Petty Betty podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but God, I was gonna say one other thing on this topic. What was it? I don't remember. It had something to do with signs or like stealing or
Have you
something.
ever had one of those times, because it happened to me? It actually happened to me, where, like in high school, where they thought you were dead because there was an
No.
article. Okay, well, I literally went to school one morning, and all of
Hmm.
a sudden people were like, "You're okay," and I was like, "Oh, I am." And it was like my senior year again, so I didn't understand sometimes the fame because people would come out to be like, "Oh, we saw you in the video," so I was kind of like, "I am," like, "Yes," and it was only till later in the day where like one of my friends was like, "What's your last name?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Roar," or something. Like, "Oh, it's not Brown." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, because there's this guy with your name that was dead in a car accident. We thought it was you." I'm like,
Oh,
"It's not me."
oh my God. Okay, wait, but Acid, did you guys, okay, a lot of Acid, did you have those videos in school that was put on by the other students? And it was about drunk driving awareness. Did
Oh,
you have that? And it was
no,
like the students would act like they were dead in the videos. And I remember watching those and being like, this is kind of like tragic to watch these people you go to school with
no.
acting like they're being flung out of a car.
We would go to the football field and they wouldn't tell us why, and they say it's an assembly, but you wouldn't have an assembly in the football field. It's so weird. And we would
Right.
they did this multiple times, go to the football field, and then there'd be a helicopter, a little helicopter, and be like, what the fuck? Why is there a helicopter in the air? And then two police cars woo, 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 drive onto the football field, and then there's something covered, and they uncover this thing, and there's a car crash, and then they enact, and that's what my friends did. Like someone was in a car crash, and they pulled them out in a stretcher, and we would just be sitting there watching like a fake car accident, and then they would put him
they,
in
Yes.
the ambulance, and they would drive off the football field, and they'd be like,
you,
"Don't
they
drink and
could,
drive."
so they would give you severe trauma, but
Hello,
now
petty
that
Yeah.
would
people. Thank
never
you for
fly.
listening to
That
the
would
Petty
never
Betty
fly now.
podcast. Hit that like and subscribe button, diva. Also, call 347-687-8585 and leave us a message to be listened to live on the Petty Betty podcast. One advice? Tell us some drama. We can't wait to hear from you, sister. Let's get petty.